हमारे लिए सौभाग्य की बात है कि डॉक्टर नागेश्वर रेड्डी जी हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं। नागेश्वर रेड्डी जी सिर्फ भारत के ही नहीं बल्कि विश्व के सर्वश्रेष्ठ गैस्ट्रोएंटेरोलॉजिस्ट हैं। डॉक्टर रेड्डी सर एशियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ गैस्ट्रोएंटेरोलॉजी AIG हॉस्पिटल जो कि हैदराबाद में स्थित है, जो कि विश्व का सबसे बड़ा गैस्ट्रोएंटेरोलॉजी हॉस्पिटल है, इसके फाउंडर एवं डायरेक्टर हैं। अब मैं डॉक्टर सतीश मीणा सर से निवेदन करती हूँ कि वे हमें रेड्डी सर से रूबरू करवाएं।
सादर नमस्कार। मैं डॉक्टर रेड्डी से आग्रह करूँगा कि मंच पर आए, प्लीज सर। It is an honor for a Shishya to introduce his Guru. I came to know Dr. Reddy by attending few of his workshops, but was personally introduced to him by none other than Dr. P.T. Chandramouli, who was the past president and he worked a lot for NMO. When I went to Hyderabad for training in endoscopy after my post-graduation, then when I met Dr. Chandramouli, he told me that Dr. Reddy's father and he were classmates. So that's how we came more closer. And since then, he also knows the working of NMO, and I had the honor of being trained under him. Dr. Reddy, as we all are aware, is one of the gems in medical practice which our country has produced, and we are proud that he has taken India into new heights in the field of GI endoscopy, especially the therapeutic endoscopy. He is a very simple, humble man associated with the grassroots, and I have seen him grow since I became attached to him in early 90s, and he takes care of his patients, and we know him that he has the good qualities of a clinician, researcher, academician, social entrepreneur and innovator. If I start reading his biodata and the prizes which he has got, the amount of research work which he has done, it will take hours. But I'll just throw a brief on this also. We all know that he has been awarded both Padma Shri and Padma Vibhushan for his services in the field of medical. He is an alumni of PGI Chandigarh, and he is a great academician and trained thousands. Though in biodata it is written 1,500, it must be in more than 10,000, which people have learned from directly or indirectly from him. He travels throughout the world. He is the founder, president of World Gastroenterology Association, and only the Indian who has got the honor of this. And I think there are 52 Sundays in a year, and he hardly spends any Sunday in Hyderabad. He is either outside the country or attending some workshop or doing some philanthropic work. He has made, beside this publications and research, they have established an Asian Heart Care Foundation and established an AGI group of hospitals, which caters various super specialities, and not only they are providing the patient care, but they are doing the research up to the molecular level, which is very important. During COVID period also, they have done immense human work and also contributed in the development of vaccines, published many papers, did so many webinars, etc., which are very helpful to mankind. They have introduced many innovative surgeries like POEM. In India, they were the innovators of notes, one of the process of doing surgery. And besides this, they have set up endoscopic on wheels. by which they are going to the rural populations and covered almost 1 crore of population. They have done some epidemiological studies also, which are very important, and they are publishing those results also, which will throw lights on the disease pattern, which is quite different from the Western population. So it's an honor for us that he has spared time for us. We invited him for the January conference, but that time he was busy somewhere in Japan. When the dates changed, I just sent him a message that we want you to come to, because normally he is busy in some of the academic conference, but he very humbly agreed for it and took the trouble of taking morning flight from Hyderabad early in the morning, starting 3 a.m. here. So, Dr. Professor Reddy, we are very indebted to you for your kindness, and I think we'll throw light on the life beyond medicine for us. Thank you, Dr. Reddy.
रेड्डी सर, मैं डॉक्टर BN गंगाधर सर से निवेदन करती हूँ कि वो आए और डॉक्टर नागेश्वर सर का टोकन ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट से स्वागत करें.
Give a big round of applause.
Friends, colleagues, and distinguished chairpersons. At the outset, I'm extremely grateful to the NMO, especially my friend Dr. Satish Vida, for giving me this opportunity to be here this morning. I've heard a lot. In fact, I was very close to Chandramouli, and some of my friends who are involved with NMO, and I have a deep appreciation for the nationalistic component and for the fact that so many of you are striving for a better India. Not just better India, but best India. We are probably the best race in the world, and I'm a deep proponent of this because of my association with the World Endoscopy Organization. I've gone to 167 countries as a president of the World Endoscopy Organization, and I can say that the most talented doctors in the world are Indians. We are much better than the Europeans, much better than the Americans, and we can excel in them if you have the proper infrastructure and if you have the proper ability to project this. Many years back, 40 years back, I had a job at the Harvard Medical School. The then professor of Harvard, Thomas Lamont of gastroenterology, told me, why don't you stay back and continue as assistant professor with a huge job in salary. I said, no, I want to go back to my country because that's what I did this for. At that time he scolded me. He said, India is an emerging country, poor country, nothing much is there. What will you do and go back? I came back, of course. We had a very good group of people who worked together, built up this institution, AIG hospitals in Hyderabad. And 30 years after he told me this, he now sends his students for training to our institute. And he wrote an emotional letter telling me that I wanted to stop you 40 years back, but now I know why you went back and why your country is such a great one for training people. So I think this, for me, was one of the highlights in my career. But Satish asked me to talk on something non-gastro. He said, can you talk on life beyond medicine, as we see? I know that there are many medical students here, there are some doctors, and as you go through your career, as you pass out, there are several things that come, which for us is passion, is medicine, looking after patients, looking after them. For last 40 years I've done this. I have been doing only this, I didn't know anything else. But as you become wise, as you age, you realize that there's something beyond medicine, and let me tell you that. Of course, although I'm giving you a talk which sounds like retirement, I'm not retiring soon. And most of my talk is not evidence-based. If you go to literature, you don't find anything in the literature on this type of talk. Let me first start with this very famous book, Japanese book called Ikigai. I don't know how many of you read. Ikigai means the reason for being. And what is surprising is, Ikigai, the reason for being, was stolen or actually borrowed from an ancient Indian manuscript, the Upanishads. Upanishads very clearly said the reason for being. What is our reason for being? Our reason for being is two: happiness and success. The whole human race hinges on this happiness and success. We are totally different from the animal world because there the concept of happiness and success is different. But here we know that all happy people, all of you who are happy, are successful, but most successful people are not happy. Very paradoxical. But this is the whole concept of what our ancient manuscripts said and what Ikigai says. Now let me take you through something which is very interesting. Steve Jobs, one of the most famous person in the world because of the Apple iPhones, what we're using, when he was dying on his deathbed, he made this speech, which not many people know, a very famous speech. Steve Jobs was considered one of the most successful person in the world, but he was probably the most unhappy person who died. And he gave some messages which I think for doctors who are going in, especially students who are going into this world, the passion for medicine should go. He said that what he said in the final was a very critic of the wealth he had. He was a billionaire. He died of pancreatic cancer. If he was actually living now with this type of cancer, neuroendocrine tumor, he wouldn't have died. He would have been cured. But unfortunately, this was 10 years before, when we didn't have the discoveries for treating this type of cancer. But now, even in our institute, these patients can be completely cured. But he died at the age of 56. He said, I reached the pinnacle of success in the business world, and I am an epitome of success in everybody's eyes. Everybody thought he was very successful. However, aside from work, I had little joy in the end. Life is only a fact of life that I was accustomed to. At this moment, lying on the sick bed and recalling my whole life, I realized that all recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have failed and become meaningless in the face of impending death. A philosophy that in India we have propagated for many, many years. That when you face death, at the end of death, all that you acquired, the wealth, the fame, the power, everything becomes zero. We come back to the zero. And this is very important. We can employ someone to drive a car for you, make money for you, but you cannot have someone to bear sickness for you. And this is the reason that as you become sick, you realize that you are the one who's sick. You can't have somebody else to become. Your driver cannot be sick for you, or your receptionist. Material things lost can be found, but there is one thing that can never be found as lost, and that is life. Once, of course, we know that we can never book, and when a person goes into the operating room, actually when he was wheeled into the operating room, he said that he had yet to finish reading the book of life, healthy life. All of us, again, as medical professionals, we teach patients this is how you should be, exercise, do this, eat like this. But unfortunately, we don't have the time to follow this, or we don't actually follow this because of various other reasons. We teach, but we don't follow. Whichever stage in life we are right now, we will face the day when the curtain comes down, and especially for some of us who are growing old, the time is coming nearer. It will eventually come for everybody, we know that's how it is. But the most important thing in life is not the wealth that you acquired, the power you acquired, but it is love for your family, love for your spouse, and love for your friends. These three things are very important. Again, we neglect this as professionals. We are also busy that we tend to neglect this. And hence, as we grow wiser, we should realize that whether you have a $300 watch or a $30 watch, it tells the same time. All these fancy things is absolutely not worth it. Whether we carry a $30 wallet or a $300 wallet, it contains the same amount of money. It doesn't make a difference. All these fancy handbags that we see people carry is not worthwhile. The inner happiness does not come from material things of the life, but the inner happiness comes from the mates, the buddies, the friends, the brothers, the families. You sit and talk with them, the happiness that comes from it. This is the true happiness. This is the happiness that we miss because of our profession. There's a big difference in being a human being and being human. Being human is more important than being a human being. All of us are born human beings, but we have to realize to be human, and that is very important. If you want to walk fast, walk alone, but if you want to walk far, walk together. Like, I think this is what NMO is doing, and this is what I appreciate. We're working together, walking together. This is very good. Steve Jobs was one of the wealthiest persons on earth. He did not mock the wealth, but mentioned the meaning, true meaning of life and happiness. So that's why I said, all successful people are not happy. All happy people are successful. This is important. I draw your attention to this very, very important study, which is done in Harvard Medical School. Started very, very long back in 1938, almost 100 years old. More than 70 top papers have been published in all the big journals on this study. And this study, what it did was they took the graduates of Harvard Business School who passed out, followed them for 70 years, and some of them 100 years, to see at the end who are the ones who are happy. Now, Harvard Business School had presidents of the United States, had CEOs, everybody, all the big people. And when they followed them up for many, many years, at the end they found the people who were most successful and the most happy were not those who had the most power, who had the most wealth, but the people who were most successful and happy are those who network the best. That's why networking is important. Organization like this is important. If you network with a group of people with true intention that something must be done for society, that is what gives true happiness, not your wealth and power. And this was clearly demonstrated by this study. I want to draw to your attention a terminology. I don't know how many of you have heard of these blue zones. Now there are 5 blue zones in the world, it's recognized now. The WHO has officially also recognized it. They are Loma Linda in United States, Costa Rica, and then Greece, Italy, Japan, Okinawa, a very famous island in Japan. These are the 5 blue zones. Now what do you mean blue zones? In these blue zones, people are the most happiest in the world. People live the longest in the world. People are the most healthiest in the world. These are the 5 blue zones, have been identified now. There are several surveys have been done. Most of the people in these places live to an age of 90 years. The largest number of centenarians, the people living above 100 years in the world are in this group, these 5. So a lot of research has been done why these blue zones have come, why this has become so important. And there's a book I recommend for the youngsters here to take up and read. It's a very famous book by Dan Whitler. He's the one who came from National Geographic, went to all the blue zones to learn individually. And he made that what is called the power of 9. Why these blue zones people are living longer? Of course, there's a genetic component, but there's many important components. They find that each of them has a purpose in life. They wake up with a purpose. They reverse the disease. They have vegetarian-based meal. Vegetarian-based meal. They eat only 80%. They don't eat full. The family comes first in them. They surround themselves with the right tribe, and they all belong to a religious community. Then power of 9 is the power of NMO. I find it exactly similar principles that you have. This power of 9 is the one which has led to healthiest people in this world. So it's very important that all of us introspect have this so-called Me Too time concept also. Where you take off 1 hour of each day, you're doing whatever you like best. Meditation, yoga, concentration, whatever you want, you do for 1 hour. This 1 hour belongs to you, not to the patients, not to the family, not to the, it belongs to you. And this Me Too time has made a lot of difference in prolonging lifespans and making people healthy. Because I said success is being happy with what you're doing now. If your success is not related to money, power and so on. And I find this often that success is not an accident. Many people say, oh, we became successful by accident. Not an accident, it's the result of an attitude. Because if you think you can do, you can. If you think you cannot, you cannot. Both the ways you are right. But the successful people are the ones who decide that they can do. Again, this is a very interesting book I'd like to get your attention to. It talks about 4 types of people. And again, as you look at this, analyze yourself. Which type do you belong to? The first type is do nothing. I want to be successful, but he won't do anything. He just wants to. They are born in rich family. The second is normal action takers. They are average people, working the clerk in the bank or a small hospital, a regular doctor. Average life, average goals, average outcomes. They're average in everything. And this is a large chunk of people, 60 to 70% of the population. The third group is retreaters, and they are the failures. Since they fail, they don't want to take any risks, they retreat into their shell. But the most important people are massive action takers. I dream big, I struggle to achieve my goals. You dream big, you're frightened to fail, then you won't achieve it. You dream big, invariably you will achieve if you do it in a proper way. So this is the 4 categories, and think how we fit into which category and shift from one category to another category. Very important. Rajat Gupta is actually one of the most famous Indians in business. He headed the McKinsey for several years. Unfortunately got into a scandal later, but very intelligent man. Once he came to our institute as a patient and asked him, what is the reason for your success? He was the head of McKinsey all over the world. All the presidents were after him, all the prime ministers were after him, taking his suggestions. In fact, he built the International School of Business in Hyderabad after ISB. So I asked him, what is the reason? And he told me this, very simple, that whenever he comes to a comfort zone, whenever he thinks he's achieved everything in that part, he raises the bar, he goes to a higher zone. So these are again very important all of us. Whenever we feel comfortable, we think we have done things, okay, I've become a professor, I'm teaching, or a student, I passed my MBBS, what else to do? Raise your bar. You go, you think of doing a postgraduate degree, raise your bar, go think of super special degree, raise your bar, think of community service. So every time you raise your bar, you become more and more successful. This is very important. This is actually a muffled picture, but I had dinner with a very famous industrialist once. And I asked him, he founded the Infosys, Mr. Narayan Murthy. And I asked him one question, can you tell me in one sentence, because I'm always interested in how people become successful. I asked him, can you tell me in one sentence, what is the reason for your success? One sentence. And he said, I don't require a sentence, I require one word. And the word is team. It's a team. And it's absolutely true. As we build this institution, our own hospital, I realized your success is not because of you. Individuals are part of that. It's a team like this which comes together. For example, Satish is very famous, Gangadhar is very famous. They are individuals. But as a team, because of NMO, they have been able to do so many other things. This team is very important. As Henry Ford said, coming together in the beginning, keeping together the progress, working together is success. And as we work together to create a scene of health in India which is superior to other countries, we realize that it's coming together that's very important. The problem for us is, unfortunately, in medical education, and again, this I should address to many of our NMC members are here. In medical education, the problem is that we don't teach how to behave in a team. We are all working as individuals. We don't teach the skills of communication. We are working as individuals. A doctor, emergency comes to see how he's running, doing everything himself. He doesn't get a team. But three most important things I realized I didn't learn in medical school was communication, people management, and entrepreneurship. These are the three important things that as your medical students, I can see here, as you pass out, as you go out into the world, these are the three important things you require. Take courses in this, how to communicate properly with people, with patients, with team, how to manage people, because various different levels, you have to manage housekeeping staff, you have to manage nurses, you have to manage doctors. Everybody has a different ego and proper management. And of course, entrepreneurship is something that's taught to every engineering student, every business student, but not to doctors. We don't know how to be entrepreneurs, so it's very important that we learn this. And the three most important phrases that I never was taught and which I realized is the most important thing in life is to say thank you, to say I'm sorry, and to keep asking your team, what do you think? This is extremely important, and we should start using this. I tell these three things at least 50 times a day in my work in the team. And when you ask, what do you think your team is the best solutions coming? So this is very important, because leadership is a tight work properly. Sometimes you have to be strict. Again, there are many leaders here who know this. Sometimes you have to be soft. Sometimes you have to be dismissive. You can't take everybody coming in complaint. You have to be appreciative sometimes. Sometimes disconnected. You can't connect yourself too much with the people. If you connect yourself too much, you get lost into their problems. You should be disconnected a little. But also you must have this quality of empathy, so you know whom you should encourage. So this is a very paradoxical situation or oxymorons that we have to use. So there are three kinds of people: people who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and people who wonder what happened. And it's the people, real success comes to doers and not to the observers. So the winner has a solution, and this is what we find in our team meetings. You have somebody asks for a solution, the winner has a solution for every problem, the loser has a problem for every solution. So it's very important that all of us surround ourselves with positive people. Take out the negativity, and this is again coming from our ancient wisdom. Take out the negativity, surround ourselves with positive people. Only then we become positive. And this, another very important, people say, how this person is working so hard, this person is working hard. We know that our Prime Minister works 18 hours a day, but it is, of course, hard work, but not only hard work, it is smart work. It is important that we convert our hard work into the smart work. And how do you do that? Of course, we have to work very efficiently. The big difference between hard work and working smart is seen in this. It's very, very important that we work smart. That is, whatever time we have, we work in a smart way. And the smart way is to enjoy your work. Again, this is a very famous book. In fact, Daniel Kahneman got the Nobel Prize, and he wrote this. All of us think in two ways. We have the primitive cortex, system one, primitive cortex, that is the hypothalamus, the thalamus, everything below, which is animalistic, that is, it reacts in a very fast way, because this is created to see danger. If you see an animal, lion coming, you run. So this is thinking fast. The second component of our thinking is thinking slow, and this is the neocortex, which is developed later in evolution. Neocortex, thinking slow, where we rationalize. Okay, that lion, is it a tame one? Is it a circus one? Is it dangerous? We rationalize and then we act. But what happens is, all of us are slaves to the fast thinking. We are slaves to anger, slaves to frustration, slaves to desperation. So we react in a very fast way, and sometimes in an angry way. We repent later, we should not have done this. So the important thing is to convert the fast thinking into slow thinking. Think in a rational way. Some situation comes, don't react fast. Rationalize. Let your neocortex, the frontal cortex, act, and then tell you what to do. And then you see the world becomes an easier place to deal with. Recently in the World Cup, when I think we are losing T20, and everybody said a lot of pressure for the people, a lot of pressure for. I was talking to Kapil there, and he was saying that there is no pressure, work with pleasure, and then the pressure grows. The fact that you are in the Indian team, selected for the Indian team, is a big pleasure. You should take it as a pleasure in work, you should take out the pressure. So again, in our work, that's very important as doctors. enjoy what you do. I am basically endoscopist, and I do, in our center we do almost 700 endoscopies a day. So it's doing. If you take it as a monotonous process, it becomes boring. It's very difficult to do this. But enjoy our convert this. Every patient has a story. Every patient has something to tell you. Convert your screens into something imaginative. When you see the ulcers in the patient, think about why you got the ulcers. When you see the tumor in the patient, see what happened. So this conversion of pressure into pleasure makes work very easy. And this is again to many of the youngsters, students there. Whatever you do in future, don't take it as stress. Make it a pleasurable job. Enjoy it, and then you can do it very easily. Let me come to the last part of this, that all of us do things, hopefully hope that we become good at it and succeed. There's an element of serendipity or chance and destiny. It's destiny, people call it destiny, but there's a chance, and I say it's a serendipity that happens in life. Sometimes we don't know why it happens, and that is when it makes a difference in our lives. I started practice, I think, Satish knows this, in a very, very small place. I came back from PJ Chandigarh, from US. I didn't have much economic resources. My father was a small professor, so we didn't have much. I started practicing in a small place called the Medinova Diagnostic Services. I was doing a lot of endoscopies, very busy at that time. In that, about 25 years back, I got a call from the neighboring state chief minister saying that his wife had a laparoscopic cholecystectomy. The stone slipped into the bile duct, and because of cholangitis, they tried to do ERCP, they couldn't do. He heard that I can do a good ERCP, can I come out? So he sent his private jet, night 11 o'clock. So along with Dr. Jeevira, my colleague, we took all the equipment, flew to Bangalore. And then when we landed there, we found that this chief minister's wife was very, very sick, had severe cholangitis, had hypotension, was in a state of shock. She had a few hours to live. Of course, the hospital was surrounded by all these political control. It was a risky job to do. So we went inside. I wheeled her into the OT table, and fortunately, this was an easy ERCP. The impact stone, it took us a few minutes, 5 minutes to take it out. 2 o'clock in the morning, she was about to die. 6 o'clock in the morning, once we drained the pus from the CPD, she was totally, absolutely sitting down and eating breakfast. So when the CM came at 6 o'clock, he got a shock. He said, what is this? I mean, she is going to die and she is alive. Why is this technology not available in our state? You give you whatever you want, you do it here. I said, no, I came back mainly to serve our people there in our local area, Hyderabad. So can you help us? So he got us this building. One of his Cheras had a building which he donated to us to start the Asian Institute of Gastroenterology, a 300-bedded hospital, which we thought at that time was very big for gastroenterology. Soon we were the only gastroenterology center. Again, Satish has visited this several times, our old hospital. It became very, very full. Too many patients because it was one of the few centers in India only doing gastro. So at that point of time, this is about 10 years later, one of our then Chief Minister of AP, Andhra Pradesh, came in for consultation. And knowing that he was the Chief Minister also, people didn't allow him. Because everybody was fighting, my chance, my turn first. So he saw this, he was shocked. He said, why are you working like this? Why don't you get up? I'll give you a lot of place. Can you make the best hospital in the world? I said, okay, give it to us. I can't promise the best hospital in the world, but we'll make the best gastroenterology center in the world. Because this is the land he gave us, 10 acres, a new hospital. So this is the new hospital that we built in Gachibowli. Whenever I go abroad, being the president of the world, and I see that there are very inferior, talented people doing procedures, but it was all in the infrastructure which was very high-end. So my mission in life was, we should build the best infrastructure in endoscopy in the world in India. That was my whole thought. So it came together in small ways, but finally we should. And just look at what happened. You can see the building they gave us. We started building this. It turned out to be the world's largest gastroenterology hospital. And then as the building has come up, You can see the surrounding area also getting transformed. The whole Gachibowli area got transformed, and over the 4 years that we built this hospital, started getting functional by 2018. We had 2 blocks, the research block on the left side, and we have the regular clinical block. It got transformed completely. And of course, as I said, because my aim was to make it into an endoscopy unit of Mali. We built this with passion. We have 40 endoscopy rooms, all of them nowhere comparable to anywhere else in the world. And you can see this, everything, units like that. Recently, I got a call from the British Hospital Building Societies saying, what is this hospital AIT? Where is Hyderabad? Is it in India? And so on. I said, yes, it's in India. We are the hospital. I said, why are you calling? He said, all these years, the endoscopy units are ranked by Q1, Q2, Q3. Q1 has been the Mayo Clinic in US. All these years, Q1. And suddenly they found 2 years back, the Q1 has become a hospital in India and the Mayo Clinic has become Q2. So they surprised what is this place. So the whole delegation came, the Q1 is not a hospital, the whole delegation started seeing what was it that was created. And now, Indian hospitals' imprint is copied all over the world, in Japan, US, Britain, everywhere. Of course, it's also important that we work with funding agencies because we had a huge amount of funds from the Wellcome Trust, India AIIMS, Biotech, DBT, Indian Council of Medical Research, and all, so many agents came together to fund our hospital. That's how we could build it. So again, it's important for coming together for teams to work to do this. And this became one of my proudest moments when I became the president of the World Endoscopy Organization. The president of the Japanese Society of Endoscopy, the president of the European Society, the president of the American Society is reporting to an Indian. And this was my proudest moment, that as an Indian, all these advanced countries were actually reporting to us whatever is happening in the field of World Endoscopy Organization. And I think when you look back and see what happened in my journey, I would consider this as the pinnacle. So, summing it up, because we had opportunities, we had chance, we had a luck. But important thing is we grabbed these opportunities and the final result is what you see. So I think the secrets to success are a large component. I think we should all, again I said, you can call it destiny, you can call it whatever it is. You come across several people in life who influence you in different ways. And I had this luck with me, serendipity and luck. We converted a lot of our hard work into smart work. And of course, our team was the most important thing. And it was communication with the team that we laid out. So finally, I'd like to end with this, especially again for the youngsters. If you look at this there's a rubber ball and a glass ball. If you bounce the rubber ball, it will hit the ground and come back again. But if the glass ball comes, it breaks on the ground. It doesn't come back again. So rubber ball is like your work. You can lose it, you can get it back, you can come back, you can go to different places. But glass ball is your family, friends and health. Don't drop it down. Once it's broken, it's broken. This is a very, very important message that I'd like to tell you all. And the 5 mantras that I would suggest is, don't miss opportunities. They always come to everybody. It's how you look at the opportunities. Enjoy your work. That's very, very important. Don't make it work. Make it enjoying things. Socialize. Family and friends are very important. Of course, physical activities. So this is, of course, our hospital. And our team is our team that you see here. We now have about 400 consultants and 200 junior doctors. So 600 of us all coming together, working together in the same way. It's a team that has made a difference. And I can see this team here also that's going to make a difference for the future of health in our country. And again, thank you, Satish, for giving me this opportunity.